So you got your DMA card now, you have everything in your setup, and you're looking to get something called firmware. Well, we're going to go through and explain to you what firmware is and why you need it. Starting off with what? Firmware is essentially just a way of making your DMA card seem like a different device. That way anti-cheats who have DMA card like checks in place, for instance EAC, BattleEye, I'm unsure if Ricochet has much against DMA, but a lot of games, Valorant has massive things against DMA. But yeah, you essentially just need firmware to mask the fact that you're using a DMA card from anti-cheats. Now, firmware can be pretty expensive. It's usually anywhere between 120 to 250. There's two different types. There's one-to-one, and then there's emulated. Honestly, I'd stay away from one-to-one firmware. It is a little cheaper, but that stuff gets detected all the time. You'll see everywhere on Discords that sell it, blah blah blah. Emulated will actually emulate the device, so the device will actually look like, it won't just look like, it'll even act like it's that device. For instance, I'm not going to go too much into our firmware. However, we use a sound card from a company, and we turn your DMA basically into that sound card. So you download the drivers, blah blah blah. You download the software, it'll come up in the app that it's that card. And we also send events through Windows. So if you check Windows, like the event log, it'll have events that are relative to the card itself. That way it's virtually impossible for them to ever detect that emulated firmware, essentially. Now we sell two different types. We sell a EAC, BE, Ricochet, basically most anti-cheats that exist for I think it's 130. And then we also sell a VGK, so Valorant firmware. Valorant's a little harder because Valorant, I mean, they're just like, well, why do you have this sound card plugged in? You don't need it, unplug it. And they're a little bit of a pain, but we do have a firmware specific for Valorant that also works, of course, with every other anti-cheat out there. But yeah, firmware is very important to your setup. It's not that hard to set up firmware either. You do it from your second PC. You plug your DMA card in, like the cord, into the JTAG port, and then you just flash it. There are a lot of free firmwares. Don't use them. I mean, for CS2, maybe you might be alright with CS:GO. VAC's not the best anti-cheat, but yeah. Anyway, if you want to find out more or have any other questions, leave them in the comment. I'm honestly probably going to need to do a video on DMA cards and like the other parts that go into a DMA setup. I think I'll do one on aimbot next. There's a few devices. You can get a Maku, Adreno, KMBoxNet, KMBoxB+. There are a lot of devices out there. Anyway, that's all for today. Again, any questions or you want to purchase, links are in the description and they'll also be in my bio. Catch you in the next video.